Hello and welcome to Greetingstar. I'm so glad you could join me today. Here's a look at the card that I'm going to be making for you today. And this card features the alabaster cardstock from Spellbinders, and it's an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I cut in half and scored at 4 1/4. And then these dies are new from Spellbinders. These are the mini color block inverted squares, and you get 2 dies in the set. And I'm also going to be using this stamp set called Sentiments for You. And I'm going to be stamping a thank you sentiment, so it's going to be a thank you card. Now this paper comes from scrapbook.com, but you can see here that the first die cuts out a background for all of those little pieces that the second die cuts out. Now there are so many different design choices with geometric figures, and you can see here over to the left, this is the cardstock that I use, the Roses Smooth cardstock from scrapbook.com, and these colors are all similar to each other in the same color families. I think that's called analogous. It's called analogous. One of the ways that I can remember how to say that is it ends with the word Gus, and Gus is our friend, and anything in the same family is familiar and friendly. So I guess I'll always be a teacher at heart. Okay, so I'm going to open up my card base here so I can lay out the design on the front of my card. Now when I started making this card, I had kind of a general idea of what I wanted to do, but I like to play around too. That's kind of my creative process. I don't know if you guys go into your card making with everything in your head laid out exactly the way you want it. I tend to just play around. Sometimes I do some preliminary playing, like I like to cut out when I get a new die set, I usually cut it out of copy paper just to play around with it a little bit. And then once I decide on making a card, I play around a little bit more with the colors and stuff. So I've got all these colors, and I can make so many different cards with what I've cut out because I cut out a lot of different colors. But right now I'm just going to be using these two, and I'm kind of alternating the colors, and I'm hoping that will attract the eye and not cause someone to want to look away from it. So we'll see. But anyway, I'm just laying these out here, and I do decide at the very end to take that center piece out and just put the little piece inside, because I want to leave like that right there. I want to leave that little open space in the center there to be more attractive. I think it looks better. So I just need one more piece. That little center piece I couldn't find, so I cut it out again. And I'll save those pieces for another card for later. So this is how my card's going to look, and I decided I wanted to back it with something, so I chose to use this piece, and this is kind of like a blush color, a light color. It's almost nude, but I think it has a little tiny tint of red in it. I don't know if you can see that on the film or not, but anyway, I'm going to go ahead and use that. I'm just checking to make sure that the size is correct for what I want. So I'm just going to use my lines here on my mat to help me place these squares onto the back. And so I'm just going to use some Tombow Mono here to adhere all of these little squares. And this seems, I don't know if you guys enjoy doing things like this. Some of you may think it's tedious. I think it's very relaxing. It's kind of like crocheting or knitting or something like that. If you're used to doing something, you can kind of just let your mind go and be free and have fun once your hands are trained and you're ready to go. So I think it's very relaxing. And I'm just going to go ahead and put all of these out. Lay them out on my card, the outer squares first, and then I'll just add the inner squares. And I'm just going to show you the process with one of these squares. I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing because I know you'll probably get bored, but I'm just going to do the first square here. And again, guys, there's so many things you can do with geometric designs. This is only one idea. There's so many ideas out there. I encourage you to, visit the Spellbinders website and see what they've got, what kind of designs they've done with this particular die set, because there's so many that you can do, or just Google it. Google, inverted mini squares and see what you come up with. But I'm going to go ahead, now that I have all of these down on this backing, I'm going to go ahead and use some foam tape to pop it up on the front of my card. I think that will add some interest as well. And I just using some of this. This tape is some double-sided foam adhesive that I got off of Amazon, and it's very sticky, by the way. So I always have a hard time with it because it is so sticky, but since I've used it for a while, I've gotten kind of used to it. But it was inexpensive, and I'm just making a card. I'm not doing scrapbooking, so I'm not worried about, you know, the acid free and lignin free and stuff like that. I'm not worried about the archival quality of it because I'm just making a greeting card. So I didn't check that on this foam adhesive. I just bought it because it was inexpensive. Okay, so now I'm going to try to lay this on my card straight. I don't think I achieved that, but anyway, it's a nice card. I think it's pretty. Now I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful sentiment. And I'm going to use some ink that matches kind of that coral color at the bottom. It's called Potter's Clay. And I'm just going to ink that up. This is the Memento Dewdrop ink that I'm using in Potter's Clay. Just wanted to say thank you. So there's my card for today. I hope you had fun watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified of all of my videos that come out in the future. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.